July. Let me tell you about all the fun I'm about to do in July. Saw your silhouette in the backlight. What's up guys? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Vanessa. In today's video, we're going to be talking about all of the stuff that I'm going to be doing in July, mainly pertaining to books. So I have a lot of things, a lot of readathons and reading challenges that I am trying to participate in July, and it is actually insane. Like, I know I can handle it, but it's just like insane. There's just too many good readathons to participate in and too many friends to spread the love around that I couldn't just say yes to one person. I had to go and join a bunch. So let's talk about all of the different things that I'm going to be participating in first, and then I'll talk about the books and the prompts and stuff that I'm associating with each of the things. So first and foremost, I'm going to talk about the readathons that I'm participating in. So I have 3 readathons that I'm going to be participating in. 2 of them I am co-hosting, and 1 of them I am just a participant. So I'm going to be co-hosting the Hunger Games readathon as well as Comic-Con readathon. So if you're hoping to join my team, I am on District 2 for the Hunger Games readathon this year because the main trade around in District 2 has to do with rocks. And speaking of rocks, I'm on Team Hard Rock for the Comic-Con readathon, so I made it easy for myself in terms of remembering the things that I'm co-hosting and went with rocks for both. I will link all of the announcement videos down below because I'm not going to reiterate stuff that's in those videos. If you're interested in joining them, check out those announcement videos, and I hope that you join my team. If you don't, it's a-okay, but I hope that you join in on the fun. The 3rd readathon that I'm participating in is the Tarot readathon. So that one will be really easy to just apply some prompts to the books that I'm already reading throughout the month and getting some points for Team Wands. Next up, I'm going to talk about the reading challenges that I'm participating in, or the mini readathons, I guess, if you will. We have Summerween coming up first. It's running for 8 days this year instead of 7, so we'll be going from July 5th through 12th, and then immediately right after, I'm going to be participating in July Noir, which goes on for 2 weeks, and that is between July 13th through 27th. I'll also leave the creators of those videos down below as well. So we have Gabby Reads and Bree from the Lock Petition. Both of them put together amazing announcement videos that you'll want to check out as well to see what all the fun is about. On top of that, I will also be doing a reading challenge of my own through my book club called Hoes for Pros. Every so often we do a book of the month reading challenge, so I have tons of book of the month books that I would love to read down and get through, but apparently the only way I can do things is through a reading challenge. So for a week we are going to be trying to read as many pages as we can from book of the month books. On top of that, I decided that I wanted to start a 2-year-long read-along for Zodiac Academy, so I'll be reading one of the books for that series in July. And on top of all of that, I decided that I wanted to partake in the hardest reading challenge you'll ever do this year. I saw round 1 go up last year and I was like, oh, that looks great, that looks so fun, but I got overwhelmed with how many prompts and things that were involved in it, and I just couldn't commit to it. It was the same thing for me the very first year of TAR as well. It was just a lot for what my mind and my body could handle at the time, but now I feel like I'm in a better position to be able to do that. So I'll be starting HRCYED round 2 in July. It does officially start on July 7th, which is QWERTY's birthday. So if you don't know what HRCYED is even about, I'm gonna leave that announcement down below too. So all of the announcement videos are gonna be linked down below for every single thing that I'm participating in. If you're interested in being crazy like me and doing a bajillion readathons and read-alongs and reading challenges, come and join in on the fun. I would like to note that I am not by any means going to be pressuring myself. The books that are on my TBR, if I don't finish them, that's a-okay. I never make reading feel like a chore. It is always something fun for me. Even though I'm participating in these reading challenges to get through my entire physical TBR or my NetGalley or my Kindle books or whatever, I am not someone who is going to put up content because I have a deadline. I'm going to put it up because I had fun doing it and I enjoyed doing it. It's never meant to be a chore for me. So that is how my reading is as well. Without further ado, let's go ahead and see what I'm going to be reading this month and what I'm going to be getting up to. So I'm not going to talk about the readathons that I'm participating in and what points I'm attributing to things because I'm very much going to do those in the moment. Like if a prompt fits for a book I'm going to be reading, it's going there. It is just going to be a all vibes kind of month. If my team wins, we win. win. But I read enough as is for things to fit for prompts. So I'm not over here trying to be like, I'm gonna match this to that. No, I'm just gonna go with vibes this month, but with some like guided vibes, if that makes sense. So we're gonna talk about the priority reads that I have first. So this includes things like book clubs that I'm in. This includes required reads that I have for the month. Things that I know are going to 100% get read in the month of July because they're for some purpose. The first one for me, I feel like, is always the Host for Pros book club because that is the book club that I read with my bestie Bree. Those details are also linked down below if you're interested in joining our book club, but we are going to be reading Dead Emma by Sylvia Morrow as our book club pick. So this one is a lot shorter than the June pick, which is kind of a breath of fresh air because that one took me like 10 days to get through. But this one I'm very excited to get to because I absolutely love this author and just everything that she puts out. Emma is a ghost and her stepbrother Max feeds her, but Max goes missing and she is forced to live off of frozen body parts while he's gone. And after he comes back, she is obviously like a little bit upset with him, like, hey, where did you go? But she has some feelings for him, so she kind of lets those feelings of frustration go. Meanwhile, she's also like, but I still have feelings for my ex-boyfriend Jake. How can I love both of these people? And I think Jake is dead too. So like there's a lot of weird stuff going on in this book and I am so here for it. This is like a horror-esque type of book. I'm ready to figure out what Dead Emma is all about. I'm just beyond excited. This is also going to be one of my reads for Summerween. I will tell you those prompts and what things are going to line up for. So this will count as me reading a book at night or in the dark. I'll probably do both because why not? Make it fun and vibes, you know? One of the prompts is also to read a horror or thriller book. So this fits perfectly. The next book that I'll be reading is Rose in Chains by Julie Soto. This is the July pick for the Tortured Readers book club, which is hosted by Rainey and Katy. I will link their channels down below as well so you know who I'm talking about. I am super excited to read this one because it is one of my anticipated summer reads. So I'm super excited to join my friends for their book club and read along with them and just see how this book is because I have historically liked Julie Soto's writing and I've even met her and she's super sweet, super fun. I'm so excited to see what this book is about because it's branching out more than just her typical romance books, but it's going more into the fantasy realm a little bit. Since I am one of the co-hosts for the Hunger Games readathon, I will also be reading a couple of the books in the series. So I read the original trilogy last year for the Hunger Games readathon. So this year, rather than rereading the original trilogy, I would like to read Sunrise on the Reaping, which is the newest book that came out focusing on Haymitch, and then The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, which is focusing more on President Snow. I believe both of these are like prequel stories of some sort to the original trilogy. So I don't have like a fun book to hold up here, but I did finally get my hands on the audio. So I couldn't get my hands on the audio for The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes through like Hoopla or Libby, but my library has these fun little things called playaways. And if you don't know what these are, they're just these little devices that are kind of like an MP3 player. So you hook up your headphones into them and then you just turn it on and press play. I'm covering my library here so I don't get doxxed or whatever, but it's just like a little device that you play. You know, it's not your phone, but it's how you can listen. And there's all these different ways that you can play the device. You know, you can put it in your car, you can hook it up to headphones. So this is my audiobook for this. I am still waiting for Sunrise on the Reaping to come in. It says that I have about 6 weeks left till I get my hands on the book, so I might be able to get it a little bit sooner depending on how fast or how slow people move through the queue. But there's over 1,500 people waiting for this book and I am 142nd in line. And my library has tons of copies, and sometimes what they'll do is I'll get a notification that it's ready even though it said 6 weeks, but it's ready because they bought 180 copies. Like that actually just happened on a book that I requested a couple weeks ago. They said that my library required 180 more copies and I was like, oh, okay, that was really quick. So usually if there's a popular book, my library will put out for it. And then the last required read that I have for myself is Zodiac Academy .5. So this is the prequel novella. I'm reading a lot of prequels this month. Origins of an Academy Bully. So this is going to be set 4 years before the entire Zodiac Academy series, and I believe it's following one of the boys, Darius. I'm not sure if it's following more than one of them, but I'll find out. It's a short book. It's under 100 pages. I'm very excited to get into the whole Zodiac Academy world. I've only read books 1 and 2 and I liked them, but I was like, I need to be consistent with this series and read it, because I can't be doing where I read a book and then a couple months later read the second book and then a year later read the third book. I don't remember anything from them. So I'm just going to be starting over. I have a bunch of friends who are going to be joining me, but I'm so ready to get into this world and these characters. Like I'm here for this 2-year-long commitment. So let's jump into one of the first reading challenges that I have going on for the month. That is Summerween. This is hosted by Gabby over at Gabby Reads. I love this human being. She is so phenomenal and she's just so nice and down to earth. I don't know how you can't like her. She's just so cool. She puts out lots of really fun content like vlogs and book hauls and book reviews, and she's just like an all-around great person. So like if you're not following her already, what are you waiting for? Every year she puts on this reading challenge called Summerween. There's also a winter version called Winterween, but it's to bring the spooky season into other parts of the year. So we have Summerween. This year it is 8 days long rather than 7 days, and I'm here for it. I'm so here for Summerween. Like, I kid you not, I wear my Summerween merch all the time. I've even had a little kid ask me why there was a ghost camping. Like, why does the ghost have a backpack? And I thought that was just so cute. I was like, because it's Summerween, baby. Okay, so you already saw that I'm going to be reading Dead Emma for 2 of the prompts, and that's the beauty of this readathon, is that you can really go at whatever pace suits you. So if you want to double up on prompts or even like use all 5 of the prompts for one book, that's cool too. I tried to challenge myself a little bit and at least pick 4 different books because I just thought that was feasible for me in a week, but you read at your own pace. So we've got Dead Emma for the horror or thriller book, and I'm gonna be reading that at night or in the dark. And to be honest, I probably will read most of these books are at night or in the dark, so any of them kind of fit the prompt. Read a book with a sky on the cover. I have been hearing that this book has gained some popularity lately because there is a TV show coming out for it, but We Were Liars by E. Lockhart. So I think I picked this up a few years ago at Target. Yep, at Target, so I'm taking the sticker off. I think I was just like in a impulsive book buying era. No idea what the book is about. Just picked it up because I was like, I want to buy a book. And this was the book I bought. So this does have a sky on it. Obviously you see like there's these characters that are in the water and then the sky is up here. So let's kind of figure out what this book is. I'm just going to read you like the little brief synopsis on the back. I try to primarily go into a lot of my books without knowing too much about them. I find that fun. Like I find that's how I get lost in the world that I'm reading about. I'm not always like super analytical about the books that I read, and I don't want it to be that way. I don't want it to feel like homework for me. So you're probably not going to find that on my channel, but let me just tell you what this book is about. So if anyone asks you how it ends, just lie. We are Sinclairs. We live, at least in the summertime, on a private island off the coast of Massachusetts. Perhaps that is all you need to know, except that some of us are liars. I think this was in the YA section, and I think this is some sort of like mystery thriller-esque book. I think it's gonna be fun. I think it's gonna be a quick and very easy, fun read. And it's too bad that I'm likely not going to the beach while reading this, because I feel like this would be a great beach book. So this is what I'm gonna be reading for a book with a sky on the cover. For reading a book that you've owned for over a year, we're gonna go with He Started It by Samantha Downing. I know that I picked this up at a little free library probably 2 years ago at this point, and I think this is a fun cover. I'm very curious what is going on with this woman. Like, why does she have a shovel? Why is she walking towards this background? It kind of looks like the background's on fire. Maybe it's the sunset. I have no idea. This one also has a sky on the cover, but I feel like it's gonna be something super interesting and thrilling. Let me see what this one is about. It's a twisty, sneaking tale of greed, lies, and betrayal, with each character as conniving as the next, and an ending that will make your heart stop. This is what Summerween is all about, okay? So we have Beth, Portia, and Eddie Morgan. They haven't been together in years, and for very good reasons. We'll get to those later. When their wealthy grandfather dies and leaves a cryptic final message in his wake, the siblings and their respective partners must come together for a cross-country road trip to fulfill his final wish and, more importantly, secure their inheritance. But time with your family can be tough. It is for everyone. It's even harder when you're all keeping secrets and trying to forget a memory, a missing person, an act of revenge, the man in the black truck who won't stop following your car, and especially when at least one of you is a killer and there's a body in the trunk, just to name a few reasons. But money is a powerful motivator. It is for everyone. okay, well this sounds like it's gonna be a fast-paced, fun, thrilling, twisty book, so I'm here for it. And the last prompt is to read a novella, a manga, or a spooky audio book. So I decided to go with Nothing But Blackened Teeth by Cassandra Khaw. This is like a shorter book. I guess it's like novella length, but I did find that I can get this on audio, so I feel like this is gonna be great for spooky audiobook. So let's see what this one is about. Paul Tremblay has blurbed this as sharp, playful, and nasty as hell. So a Heian era mansion, I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, stands abandoned, its foundations resting on the bones of a bride and its walls packed with the remains of the girl's sacrifice to keep her company. It's the perfect venue for a group of thrill-seeking friends brought back together to celebrate a wedding. A night of food, drinks, and games quickly spirals into a nightmare as secrets get dragged out and relationships are tested. But the house has secrets too. Lurking in the shadows is the ghost bride with a black smile and a hungry heart. And she gets lonely down there in the dirt. So this is a classic haunted house story that deals with the exploration of grief, the parasitic nature of relationships, and the consequences of our actions. I'm very excited to try this. I forgot to mention too that this is going to fulfill one of my prompts for HRCYED. There is a bingo square. I'll briefly put the bingo board up here, but there's a bingo square called BIPOC Authors, and Cassandra Khaw is a woman from Malaysia, I believe. I think for the month of July, and you'll see in a second why, I think that it'll be very fitting and very easy for me to fulfill a lot of the BIPOC authors prompts. And I need to read 10 books by BIPOC authors, so this book will be fulfilling one of those squares for a BIPOC author. I should also make a note too, and I'm sorry if I'm all over the place, but each of these weeks will have their own vlog. So for example, Summerween is gonna have its own vlog. July Noir will have its own vlog. Book of the Month Reading Challenge will have its own vlog. And then the HRCYED Challenge for BIPOC authors, I think that's just gonna be my episode 1. So each episode is gonna focus on a different bingo square. Okay, so here are the books that I'm gonna be reading for Summerween. I think this is gonna be a very fun, thrilling, spooky stack, and I'm so excited for it. Next up, we're gonna talk a little bit about my July Noir books. So July Noir is going to be going from July 13th all the way through the 27th, and this will overlap a little bit with my Book of the Month Reading Challenge, which you'll see I have one book that is a Book of the Month book, so I'm able to kind of double dip a little bit here. Since I mentioned that I was going to be participating in HRCYED, one of the bingo prompts is BIPOC authors. Lots of my books this month are going to be going towards that particular prompt. Let me just make a little note here that I hope that nobody is ever just reading BIPOC authors to check off a little box. I do think that it is really important that people try to read more diversely throughout the year. So not just for one readathon throughout the month, but you're trying to pick up these books throughout the year. So while I am focusing pretty heavily on a lot of BIPOC authors this month and probably a little bit into next month, that's not to say that I'm not reading diversely throughout the year as well. So just a little thing to encourage you to read a little bit more diversely, whether that be through BIPOC authors, LGBTQ representation, disability representation, anything. Like, I think that representation matters in all shapes, sizes, colors, forms, anything. But let's get into my July Noir TBR. So July Noir is a mini readathon that takes place in July because it is another opportunity for you to fulfill some of the prompts that are part of the larger map for Blackened. There are different locations on this map. If you select a location, you'll notice that each location has a set of its own prompts that you are to fulfill. The main thing about Blackened is that you are reading books by Black authors. And I want to say that for Blackened in general, you're also reading a bunch of horror, mystery, thriller books, which I think is also like a fun aspect to it as well, because not only do you see Black authors not being represented as much in literature, but I feel like you also don't see a lot of Black horror, mystery, thriller authors either. So I am really going to be heavily leaning on some of the recommendations that are in the Discord, because I want to look at the other locations and try to make sure that my reading is not only diverse in terms of BIPOC authors and also through the genres that I'm reading. And I would say that horror, mystery, thriller is not a genre that I read a lot of these days. I feel like I read a lot of romance. So speaking of romance, it's kind of funny because one of the locations was heavily leaning into romance, and that is Shishis Kitchen. So I loved the aesthetic of Shishis Kitchen. I love what it stands for. This is like an ode to Bree's mother, who is no longer with us, unfortunately. I saw a TikTok of Bree and her mother like dancing. They are so cute. Oh my gosh. Bree has become one of the humans that I've met through the internet that I just love her and everything about her and everything that she stands for. I think that we bonded really quickly because we both work in the mental health field, but I feel like she is just someone who's a genuine and a real person, and I like people like that in my life. So Bree, I'm just like gushing over you, but let me get into these books finally. So the first prompt is historical, spooky, or romance, and I have gone with Hope by the Horizon by Z. Kaylee Galan. This is a cowboy romance novella, and this is set in the Alpenglow Ridge series in Colorado. So it follows a couple of our characters that we've met through the series in other books. Also, if you are sleeping on black cowboy romances, you are missing out because this Alpenglow Ridge series is phenomenal. Next up, we have a backlist romance. So I've decided to go with You Made a Fool of Death with Your Beauty by Akwaeke Emeze. This one I saw at the bookstore probably like several months ago or a year ago, and I was like, man, that's a really pretty cover. And I wanted to know more about it, and I picked it up. So let's see what it is about. And please forgive me for mispronouncing any names. I tried to go look up how to say this author's name as well as another one's coming up, but I don't know if I'm saying them accurately. I'm trying, okay? So please correct me if I'm wrong phonetically down in the comments. Feyi, F-E-Y-I, Adekola wants to learn how to be alive again. It's been 5 years since the accident that killed the love of her life, and she's almost a new person now. An artist with her own studio, sharing a brownstone apartment with her best friend Joy, who insists it's time for Feyi to ease back into the dating scene. Feyi isn't ready for anything serious, but a steamy encounter at a rooftop party cascades into a whirlwind summer she could never have imagined. A luxury trip to a tropical island, decadent meals, and the glamorous home of a celebrity chef and a major curator who wants to launch her art career. She's even started dating the perfect guy, but their new relationship might be sabotaged before it has a chance by the dangerous thrill Feyi feels every time she locks eyes with the one person in the house who is most definitely off limits: his father. How far is Feyi willing to go for a second chance at love? Akwaeke Emeze's vivid and passionate writing takes us deep into a world of possibility and healing and the constant bravery of choosing love against all odds. I'm so excited, and I'm hoping that with the way that this synopsis sounds, we're gonna get a lot of that emotion that I really love in romance books. Like, yes, I'm here for the plot and the story and everything like that, but it's really the emotion in books that makes me feel like a book is a 5-star, and I'm feeling like this could be a 5-star prediction. Please don't let me down. Next up, we have a female chef, baker, or something cozy, and I've heard nothing but great things about this book. So we have Black Cake by Charmaine Wilkerson, and I did find that there is a little recipe in the back of the book here. So we have Eleanor's Black Cake recipe. Maybe if I get my stuff together, I can make this recipe and see how it comes out. We'll see. But let's see what this book is about. I like this little tagline. So it says, we can't choose what we inherit, but we can choose who we become. That is so true. That's kind of like that whole idea of like, you don't get to choose the circumstances that you're born into, but you can choose what to do with those circumstances after. You know, are you gonna let yourself sit around and mope around and not make anything of yourself, or are you gonna get up and work hard and try to achieve things despite limitations or difficult circumstances that you've been dealt? At least that's what I take from that. So in present day California, Eleanor Bennett's death leaves behind a puzzling inheritance for her 2 children, Byron and Benny, a traditional Caribbean black cake made from a family recipe with a long history and a voice recording. In her message, Eleanor shares a tumultuous story about a headstrong young swimmer who escapes her island home under suspicion of murder. The heartbreaking tale of Eleanor unfolds, the secrets she still holds back, and the mystery of a long-lost child challenge everything the siblings thought they knew about their identities and themselves. Can Byron and Benny reclaim their once close relationship, piece together Eleanor's true history, and fulfill her final request to share the black cake when the time is right? Will their mother's revelations bring them back together or leave them feeling more lost than ever? This is a debut novel of how the inheritance of betrayal, secrets, and memories, and even names can shape relationships and history. This sounds super interesting, and I feel like this is gonna be another 5-star prediction too. So I'm expecting July to be just stacked with 5 stars. For a book published by an older black woman or with an older protagonist, I'm gonna go with Let Me Love You by Alexandria House. I've been told that Alexandria House is an older black woman, and I think Bree's classification for an older black woman was like 50 or up. I don't know too much about this other than I got this maybe like 3 years ago and I haven't prioritized it. I got it from the Bookworm box. This was like a Colleen Hoover's box that she had. I actually haven't prioritized any of the Bookworm box books that I've gotten, so now is a good time. So this one says, trying to put past hurts behind you is hard when your ex is a fool, but buoyed by child support and alimony, Jo Walker is moving forward with her life, pursuing a career, raising her little girl, and trying to live in peace. She believes she has all the bases covered in her world, but what about her heart? Rap legend Everett Big South McLean is divorced too, knows all about failed relationships, and has relegated his love life to casual connections rather than pursuing something real. That is, until he lays eyes on Jo. She's exactly what he never knew he needed. He's what's been missing from her world. Will she accept what he has to offer and let him love her? Guys, another 5-star. I think this is gonna be another 5-star book. Like, I'm feeling like my heart is about to be ripped out by these books. Next up, we have a spicy or a paranormal or a erotica of some sort. And I saw this author at a Polycon 2025 and I was like, ooh, let me see what they have. So this is The Therapist by W.S. Greer. And this is a Black male author, which I feel like you don't see a lot of in the romance world. So let me tell you about this book because I don't know much about it other than it said The Therapist and I was like, okay, I gotta add that to my list. It is an alpha male relationship coach taboo erotic romance. My name is Dr. Malcolm Coulson. During the day, I'm dedicated to helping relationships stay afloat. At night, I swim in a sea of erotica. My two lives never cross paths, but navigating them both definitely takes its toll. On my side of the therapist's couch, I crave control. When my submissive, Ava Pearson, starts to break the rules of our relationship, I find myself grappling to keep things on track. On the other side of the couch is Sean Tillman, a humbling man dealing with the familiar problem of not knowing how to please his woman. I have just the prescription Sean needs if he's willing to be open-minded and learn that satisfying a woman often requires admitting you don't know as much as you think you do and learning to go the extra mile. If I could listen to my own advice, my life would be simple. But as the pages turn, I learned that I'm the best at giving advice and the absolute worst at taking it. That is a perfect little synopsis. It's enough to reel me in and I'm like really craving to know what's going on. Like, what is the taboo? What is going on? Is the therapist getting involved? Like, because there's ethics around that. So I don't know. I'm here for this. Like, I like moralistic stories like this, especially when they pertain to my field. Like, I am not someone who's ever trying to date my clients, but I'm here to read about it. I will read whatever drama ensues and the spiciness that goes behind it. So we shall see. And the last prompt that we have is a book written by a Black woman. So I've decided to go with Someday Maybe by Onyi Nwaboneli. I hope I'm saying that right. This is the book of the month book that I was talking about that I had that I think will fit perfectly into my own book of the month reading challenge. So I'm able to kind of count it for two things. The whole goal of everything here is not just ticking off stuff off of a box. It's to read diversely, to read things that are already on my shelves. So you'll see that just about every book from this list is on my physical TBR, and then only one of them I was checking out through Kindle Unlimited. So let's see what this book is about. Here are 3 things you should know about my husband. He was the great love of my life despite his penchant for going incommunicado. He was, as far as I and everyone else could tell, perfectly happy, which is significant because on New Year's Eve he killed himself. And here's one thing you should know about me. I found him. Bonus fact, no, I'm not okay. Oh my gosh. That's like a very gripping synopsis. Someday Maybe is a stunning and witty debut novel about a young woman's emotional journey through unimaginable loss, pulled along by her tight-knit Nigerian family, a posse of new friends, and the love and laughter she shared with her husband. Okay. July Noir about to make me cry. Like, oh my gosh. I think every one of these damn books is gonna make me cry. All right, so as I said before, I plan on doing a little vlog of my July Noir reading experience. So these are the 5 physical books that I have and then the 1 digital book that I don't own that I'll be reading. So stay tuned for a possible vlog with me just absolutely crying and feeling so sad. In the middle / end of July. So thanks, Bree, for potentially making me cry in the future. I didn't mention earlier, but I do have 1 collab video that I plan to participate in, and I'm gonna try to read 2 books for that. I won't tell you what the collab is, and I'm not gonna tell you what the books are because I like that one to be a surprise, but I will say it does have to do with Kindle books that I primarily got from like Stuff Your Kindle days, but they're like all free books. I do think there's going to be one book that I include that's not part of my Kindle, but I do own it physically, and I was like, it just fits the vibe, so why not? So I'm going to probably put in Lotus by Jennifer Hartman. I love me some Jennifer Hartman, so why not? I don't know if this tells you anything about the vlog that I'll be doing, but you can try to figure it out. I also mentioned that I'm going to be doing the Book of the Month reading challenge from July 20th through the 27th. That will have its own announcement video itself, and I'll probably go through all of the books that I currently own on my Book of the Month shelves, and then that'll have its own vlog associated with it. So far, I only know one book that I'm going to be including in that challenge, which is Someday Maybe, but I don't know what else I'm going to be selecting. I'm going to let that be more of my mood reading week. I'm actually thinking about using the tarot readathon to select my cards that week, so I think that'll be kind of fun, like pulling tarot cards and then trying to match the prompt to it. So I want that to be very like organic and in the moment, like mood reading type of thing. So I think that is everything that is going to be on my July TBR. Since I am doing so much, I don't want to overwhelm myself with like adding more books to it, because there's probably tons of things that I could be like, oh yeah, I want to read this and I want to read that. But I think that I'm going to let myself read the things that are on my TBR and really strive to read those things. And you'll see some vlogs here and there throughout the month as I get around to filming those things and get around to editing them, because that's what really slows me down, is the editing. But I hope that you enjoyed this TBR video. If you did, make sure you give this video a like. If you're not quite sure what to comment down below, let me know if you're participating in any readathons next month or reading challenges, whether that be any of the 3 readathons I'm participating in, or Summerween, or July Noir, Book of the Month. Let me know. I'm so curious to see what everyone is participating and joining in on, and just like here for the community aspect. Thank you so much for watching today's video. If you liked it, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe if you're not already. If you want to check out more of my content, I'll leave a couple of videos up here on the screen for you, so that way you can check them out. Other than that, I will catch you guys in the next one.